What is going on, everyone? For my invitational speech, I am discussing Greek life as a whole, good or bad. So let's get to it. Being a part of any Greek organization can be summarized by one popular quote, which states, "Fraternities and sororities symbolize all that we wish to accomplish in our lives. They represent the struggles we face as we grow. Why we cling to them, no one can explain, but in the end, we are stronger for it." With over 25 different Greek organizations to choose from at Missouri State's campus, Greek life is a staple for the success of our college community, as well as countless other universities across the country. I, for one, am a third-year member of the fraternity Phi Gamma Delta at Missouri State University, and I've been given several opportunities both within the fraternity and on campus representing my fraternity because of it. Fraternities and sororities nationally raise over $7 million annually, as well as do over 10 million service hours. But since the year 1970, there's been at least one reported death each year due to Greek life hazing. And according to Kathleen Prout at Vanderbilt University, Greek life participation is at an all-time low, 20-year low. She goes to say that nationally there's a trend where campuses should be expecting a 4% decline in men and women joining organizations each year. With this steady decline, we as members of the university have to begin to weigh the pros and the cons of Greek life, and if it should still have the impact that it has on the college experience that it's had over the past 150 years. So let's start with the bad. The two largest issues that many have with Greek life is the hazing and the partying that goes on within the groups. While it is an issue, I just want to say that it does not exist in every chapter or on every campus. But when partying and hazing go wrong in these groups, it goes really, really wrong. One example is Tim Piazza from Penn State University, who was hazed by his new fraternity and was eventually left for dead by his quote-unquote brothers. Each fraternity and sorority do have a vow not to haze, but what the adults of a fraternity and sorority would like to see is not always what happens. We have to remember and we have to realize that these students that are joining these organizations for the first time in their life are really on their own, making their own adult decisions. And as we all know, college kids like to make mistakes, and when they have all this freedom, and with that freedom, when used irresponsibly, can lead to lost lives. As a college campus, is that a risk that's worth taking to have Greek organizations on your chapter? But if Greek organizations were all bad, the tradition of Greek life would have ended a long time ago. There is good that comes along with Greek life. Greek organizations are known for the amount of service, philanthropy that they do, and the high standards that they hold their members to. Ask any member of one of the Greek organizations on campus, and they will go on and on about the amount of good that they do for their community, in their chapter, and for their college. So with that, a couple questions to think about. Is Greek life on universities a risk worth taking? Does the good outweigh the bad? A couple possible answers to this question is for both sides. One, saying no, that you don't need to quote unquote buy your friends in a fraternity and a sorority, especially in this day and age, with so many different other organizations on campus that fit more interests rather than trying to fit a certain clique or a certain way that fraternities work. There's plenty of ways to meet new people. And especially with the culture that Greek life brings, there's definitely no way that it's still necessary at universities anymore. On the other hand, someone could argue that yes, Greek life is definitely a risk worth taking. The notable names that come from Greek life, just from my chapter alone, I can think of Mike Pence is Phi Gamma Delta, Harry Truman, also a Phi Gamma Delta, Jack Nicholas, and the list goes on and on and on for my own chapter. And to be in ranks with those people means that there is a standard. There is something to be said about Greek life and the type of people that come from Greek life. Question number 2, if you are or have been a part of a Greek organization, was it worth it? Total opinion question. Just kind of interested in other people's perspectives on it, what their experience was with it. My own experience has been great. I've loved it. But what I've kind of seen in my own chapter and talking to other people of other chapters is people who go into a fraternity or sorority and don't go all in, don't jump head first into it, don't get all out of it, and so they don't see the good that it does, while people who take the time and sacrifice their own time, their own money to make sure that the fraternity runs well, bond with the brothers or the sisters of the organization, that it really becomes worth it. The third question: what steps could chapters take to do a better job of changing the narrative when it comes to Greek life? And there's a lot of different ways that people have thought about tackling this. I know for my own fraternity, the big wigs up there, they've thought about going on social media campaigns. A lot of times, one of the reasons why fraternity and sorority life have such a bad rep right now is because of things like Old Rose Sports, Total Frat Move, Barstool Sports, that kind of exploit and highlight the negatives that a lot of people see with fraternity and sorority life, and not a lot of people see the good. Not oftentimes the good isn't shown or isn't talked about. It's kind of kept within the walls of a fraternity or sorority, and those things need to be known. Those things need to be talked about, because there is no other group or organization that does as much service as the fraternities and sororities on universities do. And that's something to take note of. It's the only secular group that's known for service, known for giving to the poor. And that's something that chapters need to be proud of and need to talk about more and change the narrative. So when young freshmen come onto campus for the first times, they aren't thinking, Greek chapter is just all about partying, or just all about drinking, or just all about hazing. But there's more to it. There's a deeper level that you kind of have to be in a fraternity to know about, or sorority. So that is my speech. Thank you for listening, and hope you guys are having a wonderful quarantine.